managed to break the bracelet and save her. Nina was stunned by what he had done and thanked him with tears of joy. At that moment, the battle outside the palace was raging. The cavalry was fighting the guards, and Kennedy and Tanya managed to eliminate half of the guards alone. But the large numbers were still a threat. Some guards tried to use the captives as hostages, but Sora and Rona quickly confronted them after moving all the abductees to safety. Meanwhile, the governor walked into the prince's room and asked him, "What's going on?" The prince smiled maliciously and said, "Don't worry, just a bunch of insects, I'll wipe them out myself. You run away and leave them to me." The governor nodded, took his bag, and began to run away. Meanwhile, Rain and Nina had met Kennedy and Tanya inside the palace. Everyone was surprised to find Nina with Ren, but soon realized that she had become their ally. Kennedy approached Nina and joked, "Well, you look stronger than I expected." Everyone laughed and felt that things were starting to work in their favor. Suddenly, the governor appeared trying to escape from the palace, but they stopped and disarmed him. Now, only the prince is left. Indeed, the prince appeared in front of them, and then did the cursed ring. A spirit-reaping spirit appeared in front of Ren, holding the sickle of death, as if preparing to end his life. Is this really the end of it? On the roof of the palace, Arius was listening to what was happening. He smiled maliciously and said, "Finally, I got rid of you, Ren." Then he turned around and left the place. But contrary to expectations, Ren is not dead. He didn't even hurt. Everyone was shocked. How did that happen? It turns out that due to Rena's contract with Sora and Rona, he acquired two main powers. From Sorat, the ability to control magic, which he previously used to protect people from the attack of the prince. From Rona, the ability to analyze spells and protect oneself from them, even if it is the spell of the Death Scythe. Rona had figured it out earlier, even tried a poisonous spell on him, but he wasn't affected by it. The prince could not believe what had happened, and his anger flared even more. But when he looked at Ren and saw Nina standing next to him, his hatred exploded unnaturally. The cursed ring in his hand began to glow. He fulfilled all the conditions for activation. An ominous energy came out of him that began to swallow the prince completely. Everyone stood stunned. Even Ren couldn't believe what was happening. He tried to attack the mysterious energy, but there was no use. And suddenly, the energy froze and began to break. A giant hand appeared from within. It was so huge that everyone froze in their places from the horror of the view. After that, the whole body appeared. Rin's eyes widened, and he froze in place. He knew this being. He is the devil who killed his parents and completely destroyed his village. It seems that a major catastrophe is about to happen. Now Satan looked at Rain and his companions and said with a malicious smile, "I was thinking about killing you now, but I think I'll go and enjoy killing more first." He then left for the center of the capital, where there are the largest number of people, to begin another bloody massacre. Ren and his team were outraged and realized they had to move quickly to save the innocent. They had no choice but to catch up with the devil and stop him at all costs. At the same time, Stella was tasked with protecting Nina, evacuating the city's residents to safe places. When they reached Satan's position, they found that he had already begun to kill and destroy, crushing everyone who encountered him without mercy. Satan turned to them with a wry smile and said, "Good, you have come to entertain me." But Kennedy didn't wait for him to finish, so she ran towards him and gave him a powerful kick that knocked him down, while Renas took advantage of the opportunity and tied him up with his weapon. But Satan was very powerful, and he easily managed to free himself. At that moment, Sora and Rona launched a huge ice spell, which completely covered the earth with a layer of ice. But the surprise was that the devil was not hurt at all. He laughed sarcastically and told them, "Fighting 5 against 1? That's not fair. I think I need some help." He then summoned a massive army of monsters, and they began attacking Ren and his team. At first, they were able to repel attacks, but the numbers never ended. The devil seized the opportunity and dealt an ominous magic blow to Kennedy, which severely injured her. Rin, Sora, and Rona rushed to her to treat her, while Tani tried to fend off the magic in any way, but she was also injured, even though her dragon spirit protected her from the full impact of the attack. Then, Satan raised his hands to heaven and unleashed a magic spell that split into several parts and fell on the city. Ren got very angry and fired magic shots. At the same time, Sora and Rona used the fairy magic to restrict him, giving Ren the opportunity to use the reinforcement spell on Kennedy and Tanya. He told them, "Now finish him." The two girls jumped towards the devil, directing a barrage of attacks at him, severely injuring him and throwing him into the sky. Then followed another attack with the magic of the fairies, which led to the amputation of his arm. But even this was not enough to defeat him. The devil summoned more monsters, until the place was completely filled with them, and then withdrew to a high place to start a devastating spell that could wipe out the entire city. At this moment, Rain had an idea, but it was impossible to implement in the current chaos. Sora, Rona decided to move the residents to safe places, while Kennedy and Tanya provided support and protection to Ren as he fought. The fairies arrived at Stella, who was fiercely fighting the monsters, and they told her the plan. Stella understood the situation and immediately began to gather civilians and guide them towards the transition gate created by Sora and Rona. Nina stayed with the girls to protect them. Meanwhile, Kennedy and Tanya were fighting monsters fiercely, prompting Rin to try to help them, but told him he had to save his energy to confront the devil. Sora and Rona had completed the transition gate, but the residents were reluctant to cross, especially after learning of the fact that it was created by fairies. But because of what Rain and the girls did to protect the city, people began to take courage, agreeing to cross quickly before the monsters reached them. On the other side, Rain and his companions had been trapped by endless monsters. But before the fight began, the cavalry arrived in full force to join the battle. An official order has been issued by the guild to help the Ren team eliminate the devil, after it turns out that the fake hero and his team were hiding without moving. Antar, the powerful blacksmith, was distributing real weapons to everyone, making the battle more balanced. At that moment, Nina was upset, because she was the only one who had not helped yet, even though she was one of the strongest categories. Therefore, she decided to leave Sora and Rona and head towards Ren, who was trying to perform a special spell on the devil, but was unable due to the large distance between them. She needed a spell to convey it directly to the devil. But who can do that? Of course Nina. As the fox's soul, it has a unique ability to navigate instantly wherever you want. When Ren realized this, he asked her to help him, and she immediately agreed. While Kennedy and Tanya were battling monsters, Rin carried Nina on his back. Then they quickly set off towards the devil. The devil saw them and tried to hit them, but Ren used his weapon to dodge attacks brilliantly. The devil then collected a huge amount of black energy and released it towards them. But at the last moment, Rin used Nina's ability to move instantly and appeared right in front of the devil. The devil was shocked by his speed and tried to escape, but to where? Ren angrily told him, "You won't get away with me this time." He then cast the ultimate strengthening spell on himself, dealing a tremendous blow to Satan, completely restraining him. Satan's energy began to gather around Ren, and he was about to die, but he remembered all the people he had to protect, and he regained his power again. He shouted in a loud voice, "This is your end, Satan!" He then used the power of controlling the beasts and issued an order to all the monsters summoned by Satan, "Eliminate your master." The monsters began to madly attack Satan, tearing him apart and devouring him piece by piece until there was nothing left, and so on. Renz and his team won. The magical remnants of the devil began to fade, while Rain and Nina fell completely exhausted. But before they hit the ground, Tanya flew quickly, grabbed them at the last minute. Everyone stood looking at each other, and then the city exploded with shouts of joy and victory. After the battle, Nina dressed cleanly, then approached Ren and said excitedly, "I want to join your team." Ren liked the idea and decided to make a contract with her as well. Indeed, the contract was made, and Nina became an official member of the team, making everyone very happy to have the youngest member join them. Ren then went to the Adventurers Guild to inform them that Nina had joined his team. There, he met Stella, who told him that she was working with the Union to rebuild the city and repair the destroyed houses. This was a move that had never happened before, making everyone feel hopeful for a better future. One Union employee congratulated him, saying, "Ren, you have defeated the devil. I've risen to 3rd rank now." Everyone rejoiced at the news, and Ren was delighted. After that, he asked her about a suitable home for the team, especially as their number increased and they needed a bigger place to live. The employee smiled and said, "I have the solution. I'll show you some available houses." They started searching, but they didn't like any house until they finally got to a house that seemed quite a fit. The employee told them, "This house has all the specifications you are looking for, but it only has one problem." Ren asked her, "And what is it?" She replied seriously, "He is haunted. There's a ghost living in it." At that moment, Kennedy was so terrified that she was on the verge of losing consciousness from fear. But Ren reassured her, saying, "Let's check it first, and if we don't like it, we won't take it." They entered the house and found it very clean, and there was nothing strange in it. But as soon as they reached the lounge, the ground began to shake, and the objects moved by themselves. Then they heard a frightening voice saying to them, "Leave this place immediately." Kanati almost lost consciousness, while the ghost appeared in front of them trying to scare them. Surat and Rona attacked him, but their attacks did not affect him. The ghost tried to scare them again, but Ren and his companions showed no fear, leaving him confused. That's when they realized that this ghost doesn't have any offensive techniques, and all it can do is just talk. Sora and Rona activated a spell to lock him up, and Rain then installed him using a technique he had previously heard in his village. Yes, even ghosts can tame Ren. Everyone sat talking with the ghost, only to find out that her name was Tina. She told them her whole story, and then told them, "Since you didn't run away, I'll leave this place to you." But do you think Ren would let her go so easily? Of course not. Ren suggested that she stay with them and live at home, and everyone happily agreed to the idea. Tina was so happy that she decided to stay with them. After that, Ren officially finalized the house purchase papers from the guild, and the house became the property of the team. When they returned home, everyone sat around the same table and started eating together. The atmosphere was full of joy, and everyone was feeling the warmth of the family. Ren looked at them, then remembered his old family, and his eyes filled with tears, but he was grateful for the new life he is now living. Thus, the team lived happily together, ready for new adventures in the future. And that's where this great anime ends. If you liked the video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like the video. See you on other adventures. Goodbye. Movie Camera Fire.